Hey there, Bruins fans! Welcome back to BNG Hockey, where it's always black and gold. Just a warning on this one, if you're in a library or a place where it's going to be quieter, you probably want to turn this video way down, because I am not too happy about the Boston Bruins trade for Marcus Johansson. We give up a second-round pick and a fourth-round pick. Here we go. Want to start off by saying I woke up this morning with so much hope and joy that we were in on all the big names from the deadline. Simmons, Stone, Toffoli, even a guy like Panarin who doesn't end up getting moved, we were in on. And that made me excited. I was thinking Don Sweeney's not done dealing yet. I said that after the Coyle deal. We still need a big name winger. We're going for a Stanley Cup this season. Let's go. As the trade deadline went on and I'm glued to the TV, I see all kinds of little moves from other teams. I see some big moves from other teams, but not a lot of the big names were moving towards the end. This was a good thing. Teams were starting to drop out. The Jets were out on Stone. The Flames were out on Stone. That meant that there was less and less teams competing. I thought we had a better chance. Simmons wasn't getting that first-round pick that the Flyers were looking for. So I thought that made it more manageable for us to get. And we keep going and going and going, and what do we get? Marcus Johansson! Now, I should mention, I'm really happy we didn't end up getting Ilya Kovalchuk, because it was starting to look like that towards the end when we were going to get a veteran forward, and there's just so much money attached to that guy. I don't even want to think about that, so it's better than getting that, and we don't give up any players, we don't give up a first-round pick, but it's just so disappointing, especially when you see what other guys with better stats, bigger names, better players are getting here at the end of the deadline. A guy like Wayne Simmons ends up going to the Nashville Predators for Ryan Hartman and a fourth-round pick. If the Predators win a round, that fourth becomes a third. So even if it's Ryan Hartman and a third, that is like, it's so easy for the Bruins to do. It's so easy. I would have given up a second-round pick and a player, or even just a second-round pick and a third-round pick for Wayne Simmons. You can match that. Ryan Hartman has 10 goals and 10 assists. You could have gave them Chris Wagner because he has 9 goals. Like, that's just how easy it is for the Boston Bruins. A guy like Mark Stone doesn't even end up getting a first. They do get a stud prospect, and they get a pick, they get a second-round pick, but we were hearing 2 firsts, a player off your roster, and a prospect, and they didn't even come close to that. They got Oscar Lindberg as well, so it's Oscar Lindberg, a second, and a stud prospect in Brandstrom, but we could have gave up Joakim Nordstrom, Studnicka, and a second and totally matched that. Now, Stone signs for a 8-year, $9 million contract, so the Bruins would have a tough time figuring that out, but I think if you end up trading him, you got to sign him somehow, and I think Mark Stone is an incredible player. I think he would be a perfect Bruin. So whatever you got to do to sign that guy, I just feel like you could have figured it out, or at least had him as a rental, and then you let him go, or you sign him to a 2-year deal, or just figure it out. You just have options. It's just so easy to trade for him today. I really wanted a guy like Tyler Toffoli, who signed this year and next. Then you have him and Coyle, so that if this year doesn't work out, you get another run at it next year. And they get Johansson, who has 12 goals, and he's a UFA at the end of the year, so you're renting a guy who's not even going to do much for you. And the biggest problem to me is his history with the Boston Bruins, especially our top player. Now, this is a tough subject to talk about as a Bruins fan. We all know that Brad Marchand plays his game on the edge. Sometimes he jumps completely over that edge and elbows you directly to the face. A year back, he elbowed Marcus Johansson directly in the face, and just gonna say it, it was on purpose. He's been suspended so many times. He does all of this stuff. I hate that he does it. He's an all-star in this league. He's an incredible hockey player. And I get why other teams don't like him. I don't like that he does that stuff either, but it's like I said, it's hard for me because he is our best player, and he's so great when he's just playing hockey. I have my laptop with me, so I'm not going to be making direct eye contact with you, so I do apologize, but I didn't want to misquote Johansson because he had quite a few words to say about Brad Marchand after the incident. I mean, he did miss 28 games after getting elbowed to the head. But this is a big reason why I hate this trade for Don Sweeney, because this team is chugging along right now. They are feeling good. And now you're going to have this awkward moment happening in the locker room between your superstar winger and your newest acquisition. So here's Marcus Johansson on Brad Marchand from that hit. Quote, "It was stupid. There's nothing else to say about it. There was no point in doing it. There was no hockey play whatsoever. It's sad to see that there are still guys out there trying to hurt other guys. It's sad and stupid." And then he goes on to say, this is talking about Marchand getting 5 games for the suspension and whether or not Marcus Johansson thought that was enough games. He said, not really, considering this was the 9th time he's been suspended or fined. Like I said, you hope it doesn't come to him ending someone's career before it's enough. That's all I can say. I'm trying to put that behind me and get back to feeling normal again. That's all I can do. You can have almost anyone that you want at the trade deadline if the price is right. You gave up a 2nd and a 4th. Pretty good return. I think you can get someone to the caliber of Johansson's 12 goals and 15 assists somewhere else. You just had to get this guy. Now, he might be over it now. Hopefully Don Sweeney calls and says, is this going to be a problem? Hopefully he talks to Brad Marchand and says, are you fine with walking up to this guy directly as soon as he comes to Boston and saying, man, I'm sorry, I'm trying to change my game, trying to get better. Glad to have you here. Let's go on a run and do something here. But it's just so frustrating to me. Like, not only did Wayne Simmons go for so much less, but you bring in a guy who's not going to fit in the room, it seems. Like, he's going to have a problem with one of your best players right off the bat. And I don't like that. I don't like that for this Bruins team, especially when they're chugging along. Now I want to try and end it positive because I am a Bruins fan, and no matter what they do, I'll always be a fan. I'll always be watching, and I'll always support them. No matter how frustrating they can be sometimes, we didn't end up giving up a first-round pick. Huge. Last year we did that, the Rick Nash thing didn't work out, and then you don't get to make a first-round selection, and that's always tough. You do this year. Good on you, Boston. Give up a second-round pick? Not the best. Again, not a first. You don't overpay too bad. You don't give up a prospect. You don't give up 10,000 picks. We don't go all in on a guy who's got 10 years left on his contract at $8 million. Like, you could have done a lot worse. You don't get Ilya Kovalchuk. I just got to thank you so much for not doing that. And so it's fine. It is what it is. This is definitely not going to put you over the Tampa Bay Lightning. This is putting you kind of even-ish with the Maple Leafs, who I think you're going to dominate anyway in a playoff series. So, Marcus Johansson, welcome to Boston. That's all I got for you on this deal. If you're not a subscriber, I promise I am not this negative all the time. I'm usually a bit more fun. I am going to be doing a video of all of today's trades, so make sure you're back to check that out. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to give it a big like, and as always, thank you so much for watching.